Happy Tuesday, everyone. Hope everybody had a great week since the last time we met. And we are running out of time before the Christmas day hits us. And if you need a last minute treat for kiddos or for adults who love lollipops, I have the solution for you. So let's go ahead and see who's on. See if I can find the video. And then we'll get started. Okay, there we go. All right, here we are. So we are going to, hello, Cynthia. Thanks so much for joining. I appreciate it. Let's move this up just a bit here. And then we'll be good, I think. All right. There we go. There we go. I think we're good. I think we're good. It's funny how you have your screen view before you go live, and once you hit live it changes a little bit. Okay, I think we're going to be good right here though. That'll work out. See if we can get some glare gone here. And maybe move some here. Let's see what we got. I don't know if that helped. Okay, well, our first project tonight is going to be with More Than Autumn. And we're using the perennial postage dies. These items are both current and not on the last chance list. So I did want to make sure you know that. So we're going to make us a little lollipop treat holder that can be made very, very quickly. And actually you can simplify it more than I did and really make them quickly. So let's get started. Our supplies for tonight are a strip of, this is Azure Afternoon cardstock, and it is 2 1/8 inches by 8 inches, and this lollipop holder was designed by Marissa Alvarez, and I've changed the decorations, but we're going to use her measurements. Okay, so with this 2 1/8 by 8 inch piece of cardstock, I've run that through the So Swirly embossing folder. This is one of the large embossing folders, and what's really nice about this is that you can take this whole strip and just put it in there, close it up, and run it through the machine, and it will emboss the entire thing all at once. I love these new large ones for those. So that's the So Swirly, and it is number 163791 if you don't have it. It is not a 3D embossing folder, so the plate sandwich is plate 1 and 2 plate 3s with the embossing folder and paper in between. Then you're going to need some paper for stamping, some basic white. I have a piece of the Splendid Autumn Designer Series paper. Not something that you would think would work out good for this, but the back sides of this paper are really nice. So you have these watercolored front sides, and then the back sides have the beautiful variegated colored, so they can be used for any project, any season. Okay, so this piece of the Splendid Autumn is 1 7/8 by 2 inches. And then I have cut from the perennial postage dies already in basic white. I've cut this little tag die here, and I've cut the second to the smallest of the rectangles here in basic white. So we've got those. And then here's our stamping. So let's go ahead and get our stamping done. So all of my stamps for this project are from the More Than Autumn set. And so we are going to get busy stamping, and we are going to be using Blueberry Bushel, Real Red, and Early Espresso. So we're going to take our Early Espresso here, and actually I need Memento. I know what I'm thinking. Brain's not working. Sorry. Okay. So we're going to take our to-go cup here. I'm going to stamp that in basic black, and then we're going to take some marshmallows, and we're going to stamp these right on top here. Now, when you do it this way, you have to fussy cut this image. You could do the cup, color it, and do the marshmallows separate so you could die cut those, because there is a die cut for that. Okay, but that's not what we're going to do, because this was a way for me to simplify running things through the die cut. Okay, so then we're going to take on this piece. We're going to stamp in Real Red. I'm going to start with Is the Best. And I'm going to bring this down here. Hello, Jennifer. Hello, Laura. And I'm going to stamp this right at the bottom in the right corner. Is the Best. Real Red. And then I'm going to stamp Hot Cocoa in Early Espresso. And I'm going to do this up a bit. And actually, I could have done it all up a bit. It's okay, I got it. I'm going to do this, hot cocoa, just like that. So we've got hot cocoa is the best. And actually, I just stamped that on the wrong piece. That's why it's not working. It's okay, we'll fix it. Oh my goodness. I was not supposed to stamp on that piece at all. That's why it was so big, because I have the wrong piece. Okay, so let's try this again. Let's stamp this in the bottom right corner. And then we'll stamp the hot cocoa up top. Oh, like so. Much better. Okay, so we'll recut one of those others, and that's fine. Because we need to also stamp with the Memento Tuxedo Black a heart. And if you're curious about my Memento, I put it into a craft white stamp pad that was empty. So then we're just going to stamp this little heart right there. All right, now let's go ahead and color this up. We're going to use a few Stampin' Blends, and this goes really rather quickly. Okay, so we're going to take the dark balmy blue, and I'm just going to draw a little shallow edge there, gradiated. Okay, and then I'm going to go back with my light balmy blue, and I'm going to use the brush tip and blend that all together. Okay, and as I go, I twist my marker to keep my tips nice. Okay, so I've got that. And then we're going to take from the Natural Tones collection, I've got the Deep SU100 and the Medium Deep SU300. And I'm going to start with the Deep. And again, I'm going to put a little swoosh there of color in the Deep. And then I'm going to go along the top here. And again, I'm going to do a little swoosh here. That just provides a little shadow line. Okay. And then I will go back with the medium deep on the brush tip. And again, I'm going to rotate my brush. Keep those edges nice so that I'm not wearing out just one spot. Okay, so there's our cup. And then I'm going to take the light smoky slate, and on the marshmallows, I'm just going to go where the artist lines are, put in a little bit of smoky slate, and I'm going to go where the marshmallows overlap each other, just to get a little bit of shadow there and make them look a little bit more three-dimensional. Okay? A little bit there. All right. So there's our cup. Now, I wanted to take with this, and I want my band to have a little bit of color or a little bit of pattern. And I didn't want to cut out a patterned piece of paper because I would have had to fussy cut that. So I'm going to take a piece of Post-it note here. You could use masking paper, whatever works for you. I'm just going to do this quick here. I'm going to cover up the rest of that cup. Then I'm going to take my blueberry bushel and the sprinkles, and just going to put some of those here. I'm trying to stay inside the cup because, well, because I didn't mask that off like I probably should have. Let's just do that. We'll just hold it there. It's okay. Boop. We're going to cut that anyway, so we don't have to worry too much. Okay. And then just a little bit more right there. And maybe here. There we go. All right. You could skip all this and make this really simple if you wished. Okay, so now we've got our little band. We're going to take our real red. I'm going to start with dark real red on the heart here. And then I'm going to go back with the light real red and blend that together. Okay, and those pieces are now done. And then we're going to take a little bit of Wink of Stella and put that on the heart. Okay, now we'll die cut that heart. There is a die for that. I've already done that to save us a little bit of time, but we're going to fussy cut this cup, and I'll show you how quick that goes. Doesn't take that much, a few minutes or a minute or so. Really, it's an easy image, and like I say, you could simplify that by putting your marshmallows on after everything's die cut. I wanted it to look like one cohesive cup, and it just doesn't take that long to fussy cut. So I just decided I could do it this way. Save myself from putting those pieces together later. All right, and there we are. Not long. Okay. So I've already die cut that little heart, so I'm going to bring that in. And we are ready to start putting this together, except for we need to put a little bit of scoring lines on here. So let's bring in our Simply Scored tool. And I found this easiest to score afterwards. So I'm going to score this at, what did I do with my measurements? 1 inch, 3 1/4 inch, 4 1/4 inch. And because I've pre-scored this, I'm going to flip this around and score at 1 inch so that I know that I have equal distance on each end in case the piece of cardstock stretched while it was being embossed. Okay, so now there is a piece, this section is actually longer than this section. This is going to be the front of our lollipop holder. So I'm going to go ahead and add my designer series paper to that. And because it is a 3D emboss, let me get that little glue booger off of there. I'm going to use the liquid glue so that that sticks better. Oh, and there's my glue booger. Oops, let's get that off of there. And then we'll just put this right on here, like so, and center that up. Okay, let's go ahead and burnish our score lines. Okay, get that to sit down. Okay, now we need to take a 1/8 inch hole punch and we need to punch in the center. So we're going to punch in this center piece right here next to the designer series paper, and we need to put a hole right in the center if we can. So I'm going to try and eyeball this. I'm not always that good at eyeballing it, but we're going to do our best. Okay? So then we're going to take our lollipop. We're going to get some tear tape here, and on the back side of this section, I'm going to put a little bit of tear and tape. And then on the front side of this one, okay. And then we're going to burnish that down. Okay, and I'm going to pull that tape off. And then we're going to stick a glue dot on the bottom of our lollipop. Okay, so we're going to do that. And then we'll fold this one with the, that's closest with the paper. I'm going to fold that over the top here. This other piece that has the tape on it. I'm going to give that a good press. And then the short, I'm going to put the short side in the front here, and I'm going to take my lollipop and just push it down there. And that will give us our lollipop holder, and the lollipop now won't flop. Okay, so we've got that. Let's go ahead and put our pieces on, which we need to quickly cut one of those die cuts because I messed it up. Okay, and this is the one I want, right? Okay. So we're going to grab this one, or do I want, yeah, it's this one. Okay, and a piece of basic white. I'll just take a small scrap here. I'm sure I've got one handy that this will fit. Okay, well that's not going to work, so let's just grab this. And then we'll cut this. This is just an accent piece. So let's go ahead and get that. We'll put that back. All right, and then we're going to put this down on here. And I'm just going to do that with some seal adhesive. And then we're going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals and put those on. And add this to the front of our box right there. And then we're going to take our sentiment, let's not lose that heart, and we're going to grab our glue dots again. And I'm going to take and put one glue dot at the top here. And then I'm going to grab another glue dot off the roll. And I'm going to put that right down here near the corner. I'm going to add this, and then with these little pieces, I'm going to hook one of those right up to the lollipop stick, like so, and press that down. I'm going to take a mini dimensional, which barely fits this heart, and we're going to take that backing off, pop this on our cup like so, and we are almost finished. Okay, so let's get our bow jig here. And we're going to take the real red and white baker's twine. And I'm going to make a double bow. And then we'll take another glue dot. And we'll take my tweezers and squeeze that glue dot around that bow. And put this right here. And stick that on. So we've got a cute little bow. And finally, well, what did I do with those? Oh my goodness. I'm not sure what I did with my iridescent. Well, I don't know what I did with them, guys. I thought they were in my tub, and they appeared to be there, and I don't know what I've done with them. Okay, craziness. Okay, well, to finish those off, you would take the iridescent faceted gems and add 3 of those, and there's your lollipop holder treat. And I'll find those and add those after the live. But there you have it, quick and easy lollipop treat. The lollipops that I am using, I got at Winco, and they came in a pack like this, and they're the Charms Hot Chocolate Pops with a creamy marshmallow flavored center. I think I paid $1.29, and there are 7 in here, so pretty inexpensive little gift, and it doesn't take much for supplies. Okay, so there we have it. That's project number 1. And let's get moving on to project number 2. Let me set these aside so I don't make a mess with those. And we'll bring out the next set. All right. For our second project tonight, we're going to make a card. And for that, we are using the Happy Hibiscus bundle, which is part of the November online exclusives release. So our colors for this are Shy Shamrock, Petunia Pop, and Blackberry Bliss. Okay. Oh, there's my faceted gems right here. Let's go ahead and add those. Actually, I must be using them on both projects, and I put them in the second tub. Now, where did I set my... This is what happens when you don't put things back. Then you can't find them. Okay, so let's go ahead and add our iridescent faceted gem. Add one up here, a large one, then I'm going to add a smaller one right here, and then I'll add another larger one right over here. Okay, there we go. Got that finished up. And I'm going to put these right in front of me so I can find them for the next card. A little bit easier. Okay, my tear and tape is a little bit wild. Let me fix that because it's all over the place where it shouldn't be. Okay, so for this card, we have a base in Petunia Pop at 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. That's a standard A2 size. This is a sneak peek product. Let me see if I can find my 12 by 12 pack. This is the this is called Bloom Impressions 12 by 12 designer series paper. This is a celebration choice in January and February. Okay, so you've got those two. And then we've got these front and back. And front and back here. And front and back there. Okay, and then we've got the piece we're using front and back. Okay, so this is free with a $60 purchase in January, beginning January 7th through February 28th. You can choose that as one of your celebration gifts. So we've got that. I've got a piece of that designer series paper, and I don't need to put any treatments on that, so I can go ahead and add that to my card after I burnish my fold. Okay. Neatest, lovely. Ah, Tracy. The little Winco, those little treat pops were on the seasonal aisle. So, all right. So we're just going to put that down. Okay, so let's set that aside. Then we need a piece of Blackberry Bliss cardstock that is 3 by 4. Okay, and I've ran that through the Cane Weave 3D embossing folder already. Okay, now this is a very detailed pattern, and it's very directional. So the way to make sure that you get that right is to take that Stampin' Up! Logo, put your paper in along that black line, straighten it all up nice and tight, and then run it through this way, okay? And then you'll have a nice straight pattern. And we're going to add this pattern to a piece of Petunia Pop. And this is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 to fit this 3 by 4 piece here, okay? And really what I did was I ran a piece that was 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 in the Blackberry Bliss, and then after I embossed it, I cut it down to 3 by 4. That way I knew that my paper was still 3 by 4, which makes it easier to line up and center when you're not dealing with a piece that's been stretched. Okay, now I like to turn these over and run my bone folder to push that glue and spread it out. That way it goes all the way down to the edges, gives you a nice unwarped edge. And now we can set this aside, and we can bring in a piece of basic white for stamping. Okay, and we're going to also bring in this piece, but I need a piece that is 2 3/4 inches by 5 that I don't seem to have cut for whatever reason. So I'm going to cut this in at 5 1/2. Okay, and I'm going to cut this down to 4 1/4. So I've got a 1/4 sheet of cardstock, and then I'm going to cut that again at 2 3/4, which is going to give me 2 3/4 by 4 1/4, and that's going to work perfectly with my stamp and die for the Happy Hibiscus. Okay, so now we're going to take from the Happy Hibiscus, the stamp set right here. These 3 flowers are on one, they come together. Okay, so we're going to ink them all at once in Blackberry Bliss. And then I'm going to put these down here. Try and center that up. I need to make sure that I leave enough room around the edge for my die. Okay, so I've got that. And then there are 3 individual filler flowers. So I'm going to grab those. And we're going to take Petunia Pop. And no, I got to push this ink down. This pad is a little bit too juicy. So I'm just going to take the back of the spoon and push that down and try to keep my finger out of it. And then I'm going to take a piece of scrap paper here and just stamp that off. And then I'm going to take this and ink it up. And stamp that down. And take the medium-sized flower. And I'm going to line the piece here that sticks out with this piece right here. I'm going to line that up all neat and tidy. Okay. And then I'm going to take my large flower Now you could fill these with whatever. You don't have to do them all the same. I chose to. And we'll fill that. Okay. And then we need to stamp some leaves. And I've done, I needed 2 large and 3 small, and I've done most of them. So we're going to take the large outline leaf. Okay, and we're going to stamp that in Shy Shamrock. And then I'm going to take the small leaf with the detail part in Shy Shamrock. And then bring back in that scrap paper. And I'm going to take the inside filler piece. And I'm going to stamp that off. And I'm going to line up those center pieces there. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the smaller inner leaf, which I find easier to line up. Okay, so we've got that, but you would need 2 of these and 3 of these if you were making this card exactly like mine. And then we'll die cut those. And then we need our sentiment. So we're going to bring back in the Blackberry Bliss. This piece here. Actually, let's see. Yeah, because we're going to do this. I'll show you how to do it. And then I've got one that where I hand cut out and you can decide what we use. Okay. So I'm going to take You Make Me Smile, also from Happy Hibiscus. And I'm going to try to stamp this right in the center of this 5/8 inch piece of basic weight. Okay. Now, we're going to die cut this with one of the dies from Happy Hibiscus, but it was a little bit big for my purposes, so I decided to alter it a bit. So here is the piece, and the easiest way I found to do this was to bring in my silicone mat, put down my sentiment, and then line this up like so, and then tape that down. Okay, that keeps that paper from moving because it's on the silicone mat. Okay, so then we're going to bring in our mini, and we're going to partially cut this. Okay, and then we're going to take that off, put it back on here. And we'll do that again. Okay, so we're going to line that back up like so. We're going to center that up. Get our tape, which is not cooperating here. And make sure that's all nice and centered. And then we'll flip it around because we already cut this end. So now we're going to cut this end. And we're going to repeat that process. Okay, so plate 1, plate 2. We'll put that in. And then we just need to cut this end. And now we have an altered sentiment label there. Okay, so when we take this off, this is what we have. And this is what it would look like whole. So this is how I made it smaller. Okay, so I made it shorter and narrower. All right, we've got a little bit more die cutting to do, so let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to take our leaves, and we're going to take this large piece, which cuts our 3 large flowers. I'm going to start with the leaves because I can run them through the mini. I'm just going to put those in, tape that down, put that in, and tape it down. And they only give you 1 small and 1 large leaf, so if you got to run it through multiple times. I might need a new piece of washi tape if this one's not gonna hold. I've done it a few times with this already. Come on, lift off that silicone mat, please. All right, let's bring those plates back in, and then we'll run these through. Okay. And now we have our leaves. But of course, you will need to run 3 small and 2 large. Okay. All right. Now for the large flowers, we are going to, this is the Happy Hibiscus is it's a hybrid embossing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my die and I'm going to put this down on my image here, and I'm going to center it up. Okay. And get that ready for die cutting. I'm actually going to grab a new piece of tape. Make sure I've got that where I want it. Okay, and that's not going to move. So now I'm going to take this and the Happy Hibiscus Hybrid Embossing Folder. This is included with the dies when you purchase it. It comes together. You cannot purchase it separately. And then I'm going to take the side that has the Stampin' Up! Logo. I'm going to turn the inside. I'm going to line up my die, and then I'm going to flip it over and put that in until those dies lock into place, and they will lock in. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my big boss, and I'm going to use plate 1 and the specialty plate 4 for 3D embossing folders, with the spine entering the machine first, and then I'm going to run that through. Okay, and those are normal sounds that you're hearing. And then when I pull this out, my flowers here, my hibiscus, are not only cut, but they're also embossed. Now you would want to be careful with the tape that you use, because if you use too sticky of a tape here, it will rip your paper, but this mint tape is really good and doesn't do that. Okay, so now I've got 3 flowers. All right, and we're ready to start putting this together. So we're going to bring in our Blackberry Bliss and Petunia Pop stacked layers there. I'm going to bring in my sentiment, and I'm going to put this here first like so, which is not what I did on my sample, and so it didn't quite fit the way I wanted it to, but we're going to do it the smart way this time. And then we can do this. Okay, now we could use this one, or I've already stamped and hand cut, fussy cut, the You Make Me Smile sentiment. So you can choose what you like, and you tell me which sentiment, the sentiment label, or let's get these leaves on here so you'll know first of all what we've got here. I'm going to grab all my leaves so you can really see what you should be looking at there. So we're going to stick these in here like so. And under here, this one goes on top because that's the way I like my big ones, on top of my little one. And let's try putting that in the right direction. Okay, there we go. And then we'll take another small one and we're going to stick it down here, kind of like this. So we can use that one, or let me see, I seem to be stuck on comments. Let me refresh and see what we've got going here. There we go. All right. So would you like the hand cut or the label? Let me know in the comments. What is your preference? You tell me and I'll put it on. Okay. And let's go ahead and add this to the base here so you can really see that. All right. Label or hand cut? The first one, the label. Okay. Anybody else? All right, label. Okay. All right. Well, let's do that. So I'm going to go ahead and this off. And I'm going to take for these now, I'm going to start with this large one. I'm just going to put some liquid glue right in the center. And put that down. I'm not going to press it too hard. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the medium flower. A little bit of glue right in that center. Like so. Press it just a little bit. And then we'll add this one, and we're just going to put a little bit at the base here. And slip that under those two flowers like so. Okay. And then grab a little bit of glue here. Stick that under here like that. Grab our big leaf. Okay. And then we're going to take a big leaf here, put a little bit of glue. That into there, and I'm not going to press that at all. I'm just setting it there until I get my little leaf in place underneath there, like so. Okay, let's pull this back out a bit. Okay, and I like the way that looks. So now I'm going to take and give those a good press so that that will stay down. Whoa, that is not, oh, did I not? Nope, I didn't glue that. It's not going to stay. I think we forgot that one. All right, let's go ahead and put this back down here. Like so, and I'll stick this one right here, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to take this and some Stampin' Dimensionals. And we add this right down here, trying to make kind of like an even border on 3 sides. Okay, well, it's not quite. Let's try that again. Get it straight. And that looks pretty good. And press it down. Okay, and we can add this piece to the front of our card with some Stampin' Seal. Center that up. Okay, and let's take those iridescent faceted gems. I'm going to take one of the larger ones and I'm going to stick it in the center of that flower right there. And then we'll take another large one and let's see. Let's go here and here. Okay. Then I like to take the tip of my Take Your Pick tool and just give those a good press so that they don't fall off the card. And for the inside of our card, I took a 1/2 inch strip of that same paper. This is a 3 and 5/8 by 4 7/8 piece of white cardstock, 3 and 5/8 by 1/2 inch. Your True Blessing comes from Unbounded Love. These fonts match, so I like that. They pair very well together. Okay, and then we'll add this to the inside of our card, and this card will be finished. Okay, and for my envelope, I stamped that medium flower so that I would have a coordinating envelope, because who doesn't like a coordinating envelope? And there should never be a naked envelope. So there we are. So those are our projects for tonight. Let's bring back in our first project. If I can see right where I put it, right in front of my nose there. Okay, so that's what we have for you tonight. One quick little treat. And of course, you could make these for any season. Just change the stamps, change the colors, change the sentiment. And of course, you could change the lollipop. Any Charms lollipop, Tootsie Pop, any of those will fit right in here. Those gourmet ones are a lot bigger around, so they wouldn't fit in this. You'd have to alter the size here. But these little lollipops fit great. All right, everybody. I hope you like that. Oh, thanks so much. Thanks so much. Oh, who said cut? Laura said cut. Oh, well, I used the label. Sorry, guys. Kind of like the label myself, but here we go. So thank you so much. I will not be here next Tuesday night live because it's Christmas Eve and I will be spending it doing Christmas Eve things. All right. So, and then the following Tuesday is New Year's Eve. I might be live on New Year's Eve with a product unboxing. I don't know. We'll see where that goes. I'll post and let you know if I'm not going to go live. But until then, everybody have a very Merry Christmas, and I will see you soon. Good night.